Hello everybody, my name is Jacob the DM, and welcome to the Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Survival Guide, Player's Edition. And in your first episode here, we are going to be making our first character. So for us, I plan on making us a human barbarian. And so all the information we find is going to be straight here from the player's handbook. I have a PDF, but I also have the physical copy, which I also recommend that all players have. But if you don't, I at least recommend that the DM has it. Anyways, so where it says race right here, we're just going to type in human when it types. And for class and level, we're going to make a level 1 barbarian. Since we're going to be level 1, we're going to have a proficiency bonus of +2. And the inspiration will be something that your DM hands out. Trust your DM to explain what it means. But for players, just think of it as an auto success on any roll. Anyways, so let's start off with learning about humans. So humans have racial bonuses. And the racial bonuses of humans you can find right here. For the humans, you have an ability score increase of 1. And so, ability scores are these right here. And for a barbarian, you want to focus mainly on your strength and constitution. I always joke and say that the way that you can explain what each of these are is kind of like a tomato. Your strength score determines how hard you can throw a tomato. Your dexterity determines how well you can dodge one. Your constitution is going to tell you, how well you can survive eating a rotten one. Your intelligence is going to tell you that a tomato is a fruit, but your wisdom will tell you not to put one in a fruit salad, and your charisma will let you sell one off. Anyways, so for a barbarian, we want to put, before we continue actually, I need to explain stats. Most DMs will use a stat system called standard array, and what standard array is that in each of these stats right here, you're going to put either a 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. And so I'll arrange that right now. For a barbarian, we want to put our 15 in strength and a 14 in our constitution, because those are the two most important things for a barbarian. Thirdly, we'll probably want to put our 13 in our dexterity. But then it depends on how well we want our character to talk. Frankly, I think it'd be for the best if he was somewhat good at it. And then wisdom and intelligence for a barbarian are useless. So we're gonna do something called dumping. And a dump stat is where you put that 8, because it's gonna be the least important for your character. And then our human racial traits begin to take into effect. Because we're a human, everything here gets 1 added to it. So we don't have a 13, we have a 14. Instead of 14, we're going to put 15. Instead of 8, we're going to put 9. Instead of 10, we will put 11. Instead of 12, we'll put 13. And then, if you look at page 13 of the player's handbook, you will find a small stat table. Let me pull that up right on here. Here we go. So, as you can see right here, I try to zoom in a little bit for you guys. A strength score of 16 means that we get a +3 modifier. A dexterity score of 14 equals a +2 modifier. A constitution score of 15 equals a +2 modifier. An intelligence score of 9 equals a -1 modifier. A 11 in wisdom gives us a +0 modifier. And a 13 in charisma gives us a +1 modifier. Now, before we start filling these things in, we need to talk about proficiencies. And since I said that this human's a barbarian, we should probably turn to the barbarian page. So as we go to page 46 of my PDF, we see this. This gives a brief explanation of all of the classes. For us, we are making a barbarian, and our barbarian is a fierce warrior of primitive background who can enter a battle rage. And as you see right here, it says our hit die is 1d12. And so for hit dice, and here we're just going to put 1d12 when it types. Well, for right now, we'll just put it here. Oh, and right now we can also do our initiative. Now your initiative is just a straight dexterity check. And so since we have a +2 in dexterity, that means that when we roll initiative for combat, we're going to be adding a 2 to that roll. Humans also have a 30 base speed, which means that in combat, every round we can move 30 feet. So now to move on to barbarians. So barbarians hit dice is 1d12 per barbarian level. And to determine your first level hit points, you're just going to take the max that you could roll, which is a 12, plus your constitution modifier. So in our case, our barbarian is starting with 14 health when it types. This is the worst part about working with PDFs. And so, since our current hit points are 14 for this character, we'll have 14 written right there. So, time for our class. So, down here in our proficiencies, we can see that our class gives us quite a lot of proficiencies. So it gives us a proficiency in light armor, medium armor, shields, simple and martial weapons. It gives us proficiencies in the saving throws of strength and constitution. And we also get to choose 2 other proficiencies from animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, and survival. What a proficiency means is that you're going to add your proficiency bonus to rolls made with that score. So for example, let's say that for this character, we want him to be of the wild. We're going to make a wild barbarian. So in this case, it would be safe to say that growing up in the wild, he probably knows a little bit about dealing with animals. So he will have a proficiency in animal handling. And then we'll give him a proficiency in survival because again, growing up in the forest, he'd probably be proficient in survival. So next, let's move on to backgrounds. So on page 128 of my PDF, or page 203 or 193 of the player's handbook, I don't remember off the top of my head, we can start looking for a background. I already know the background that I want to use for this barbarian, which is going to be something called an outlander, meaning that he grew up in the outlands. So here we go. And with this, we can start taking care of these, our personality traits. Your personality traits determine how your character acts and what his morals are. So for this, you can see that we roll a d8 for his personality trait. In which case, I'm just gonna make up a number. I'll say 8. So this character was, in fact, raised by wolves. Your ideal is going to be something that kind of shapes your character's view of the world. It's his ideals. So for example, we'll say, we'll give him the ideal of honor. So if I dishonor myself, I dishonor my whole clan. I dishonor myself. I dishonor my whole clan. Time for your bond. Your bond is something that bonds you to the world. What I mean by this is that this is going to give your DM something to work with when he's making your character. So I'll just say 3. So here we go. So this character will bring a terrible wrath on evildoers who destroyed his land. So there you go, right there, gives your dungeon master something to work with. He's going to think, oh, somebody destroyed your land. So now your DM can start working on things for your character and help make your character feel more like part of the world. And then right here is your flaw. Every character has a flaw. It just kind of makes your character feel more real, more connected to the world. So we'll just say 5. Violence is my answer to almost any challenge. And that sounds like a barbarian to me. When the PDF wants to cooperate. Is my answer to almost any challenge. Along with that, you also get certain bonuses for this. Just one moment to find it for you. Here we go. So looking right here, we can see that the Outlander background gives us a proficiency in athletics and survival. But we already have a proficiency in survival, so let's go back to our class and pick a new one. Let's go with nature. Because again, we grew up in the forest, so I think it'd be safe to say that we're pretty proficient and know a little bit about nature. See, and so then we also get equipment. So we get a tool proficiency. We are proficient in a musical instrument. So first, making things easy, I'm just gonna say we're proficient in a lute. And then we also get an extra language. So we'll take common because we're a human, and take Elven. And so then, right here, you've been to strange places and see things that others cannot fathom. Consider some of the distant lands you have visited and how they impacted you. You can roll on the following table to determine your occupation during your time in the wild, or choose one that best fits your character. For us, we'll say that his origin let's say that he was a bounty hunter. That would make sense for violence always being his answer. And so along with this, our background also has some features. Features are just some extra things that add a little bit more to your character. So here we go. We're a wanderer. We have an excellent memory for maps and geography. You can always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around you. In addition, you can find food or fresh water for yourself and up to 5 other people each day, provided the land offers berries, small name, water, and go forth. So we have photo, just to paraphrase, and lands where we're in. Along with that, we can always find food and water for up to 5 people. See, so up next, we should probably look more at our class and find out what equipment we're starting with. So, back to our class. We can start with any of the following. So, we can start with a great axe or any martial melee weapon. For me personally, I like the idea of us having at least one great axe. So we can also have 2 hand axes or any simple weapon. Again, I'll gladly take the hand axe. And then finally, we can either have we also get an explorer's pack and 4 javelins. So then here in our equipment, we'll toss in some javelins. And now to go back to our background. Let's see. And here's the equipment that we get here. We get a staff, a hunting trap, a trophy from an animal we've killed. So we'll just say that we have a great boar's tusk, a set of traveler's clothes, and a belt pouch containing 10 gold. So we'll just say 10 GP in order to represent gold pieces. And so right now our character sheet's looking pretty full. The last things that we have to add are our weapon bonuses, and then just a couple last things from our class. So let's look at the weapons we have. So we have a great axe and a hand axe and 4 javelins. So a hand axe does 1d6 piercing damage. Let's see. And the hand axe is a light thrown weapon. Alright. And so because we're proficient in them, we're already immediately going to get a +2. And then since a hand axe can be strength based, we're going to take our hand axe and we're going to take our strength bonus, which is +3, plus our proficiency bonus, which is +2, and give ourselves a +5. Javelins are the same. So 1d6 piercing, but P for piercing. And then a +5. Then for our grade X, it's right here. We're going to again have a +5 modifier because it is strength plus proficiency. And then our damage is going to be 1d12 slashing. 12 slashing. And then we add our strength modifiers to our strength-based weapons. So it's 1d12 once more plus 3. Our hand axe will also take plus 3, and our javelin will also take a plus 3. So now let's look once more at our class and see if our class gives us anything else. It looks like this class gives us something called a barbarian rage. So in battle, you fight with ferocity. So what your barbarian rage will do will give you advantage on strength checks and strength throws. So let's type that in. Advantage on strength throws and saves. When you make a melee weapon attack using strength, you gain a bonus to the damage roll that increases as you gain levels as a barbarian, as shown in the rage column on the barbarian table guide. So we'll take a bonus to strength damage. And we also have a resistance to all damage. We also have a resistance to all physical damage. All physical damage. And along with that, our rage is going to last for 1 minute and ends early if we are knocked unconscious or if my turn ends and we haven't attacked a creature. We can also end our rage as a bonus action. So let's look at the bonus that we get. So we get 2 rages and we get a +2 bonus to damage. So let's type that in. Let's see. And now all that's left for us to do is fill in our stats. So we get a +3 on our saving throws, but we're proficient, so we get +2 more. And so that means that we have a +5 in our saving throws. And it would be the same deal for our athletics checks. Since we're not proficient in anything in dexterity, we only get this +2 in each of these. And so we have a +2 in constitution, but since we're proficient, that means that this turns into a +4 because our proficiency bonus will get added to the 2 that we already have here. And so with these, we're going to put -1 in each of these, except for the one that we are proficient in. So -1 + 2 actually means we're going to get a +1 in our nature checks. And then to repeat here, we're actually going to get a 0 modifier, a +2 since we're proficient, 0, 0, 0, +2, +1, +1, +1, +1, +1. And now all that's left for us to fill out is our passive wisdom. Now your passive wisdom is going to be 10 plus your wisdom modifier. And so in our case, we don't have a wisdom modifier, which means our passive wisdom is 10. Oh, and then last but certainly not least is our armor class. So armor class for barbarians don't wear armor, generally speaking, is going to be 10 plus our dexterity modifier. So in our case, we have an armor class of 12. And looking at everything, it appears that our character sheet is now done. Oh, we should probably fill out the rest of this. So our background is Outlander. Our player name is Jacob. Our experience points at first level are 0. Then our alignment. Our alignment is gonna change our view on the world. If we look back at our background, we can see that we have lawful written right here. And so which means that our alignment is going to be lawful something. There are 6 different types of alignments. There is lawful, neutral, and chaotic, which will always be your first half, and then good, neutral, and evil. So lawful is going to kind of speak for itself. You believe that there should be laws and you follow them. There is neutral, which means that you don't care either way. And there's chaotic, which means that you don't really believe in laws or anything of the sort. It's really up to a DM to DM perspective. And then there is good, neutral, and evil. And while I think they all kind of speak for themselves, I'll just kind of go over quickly. So good, what I mean is what the book I think means is, you believe in good, helping people, the good of the whole. Neutral, again, you have no strong feelings one way or another. And then evil is evil. The best way that I can describe it is a lawful evil character could be considered like a Darth Vader. Anyways, so we'll make this character lawful neutral. Because I don't think that this character would be too worried about people other than those in his tribe. And with this, our character is now done. Next week, we'll cover going into combat, running combat from a player's perspective, and then we'll see what else we go from there. We'll cover, working with your party, using your ability checks and the such. This episode was just to focus on getting your character ready. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. My email will be in the description, and I will also leave links to where I get my character sheets from. And with that, I wish you all goodbye, good luck, and happy playing.